You have 440 sworn officers, a population of 180,726, according to the latest figures that I saw. What are you doing to get rid of gangs?
Well, that's a that's not an easy question to answer. First of all, gangs aren't exclusively a police problem. They're a community problem. And solutions require community-wide approaches, not strictly police approaches. Um, just last week, there were a team of representatives from Newport News who traveled to Dallas and attended a national training provided by the U.S. Department of Justice on gangs, on developing community strategies for gangs. The City Council has made a pretty significant investment in developing strategies to deal with the impact on gangs. So, I can't sit here and tell you 5 weeks into my job that we have a definitive game plan. But what I'm very pleased about is that we're pulling together resources from some very diverse places. It's not exclusively, for example, the Newport News Police Department gang unit. It will involve many other community components to try and take a community approach rather than an enforcement approach. You can't arrest your way out of any social problem. You have to deal with it as a community-wide problem. And I think for too long, policing in general have tried to be the cure-all for all community ills, but I think by now we've all figured out that you can't use a strictly enforcement model to deal with community problems. You have to take a broader approach.
What is your initiative toward officer morale?
Well, I have to say in 37 years of policing, I've yet to hear anybody talk about how great morale is in an organization. It's a very euphemistic term that gets thrown around for different purposes. I think in general, though, as a new chief coming in, the better I can try and connect with the men and women of the department and help them understand that I'm just like them, no more, no less important. I wear the same uniform and I'm here for the same mission, but at the same time help them understand what my vision for our department is moving forward. Generally, people in any organization just want to know where the skipper is steering the ship. And that way they can understand that we're all going to row in the same direction. And so I would say early on, my responsibility is to help the men and women of the department understand what that vision is and be able to ask questions of me. I've been trying to hit some of the shift changes and meet with some of the folks. They're often hesitant to raise their hand and ask a question, but rumor control is a big part of things. I try and give consistent answers. And in fact, just before you came in today, I sent out kind of a lengthy newsletter type of communication to the entire department, listing some of those top rumors that I keep hearing from shift change to shift change. So communication, being visible, being accessible, listening carefully to what the employees' needs are. Part of the leader's job is to provide the right tools in the toolkit so that people can do their job effectively. So if we take care of those things, morale's going to take care of itself.
Initiatives for battling crime, what are they?
Well, one thing I'll say about Newport News Police Department is they have a strong analytical capacity. The department excels at crunching data and analyzing the numbers to be able to track crime patterns, fluctuations up and down, and I appreciate that. I am a data-driven type of leader. However, I'm also, even more than that, outcome focused. So studying crime patterns in too short of a time frame really isn't that meaningful to me. When you're in a city this size, a half a dozen events of a certain category can make your statistics go way up or way down, but is it really meaningful in terms of quality of life in the community? So I want our focus to be what outcomes are we seeing in the community? Do people feel safer? Are we bringing down violent crime in general so that people can see a difference and improvement in the quality of life of their neighborhood? Those are the kinds of things I want us to be very focused on as a department.
And that brings me to my last question, which is, what is it you want the 187,000 who make Newport News home to know now that you're the new police chief at the helm of the fourth largest police department in the state?
Well, I think the most important thing that I hope our residents can understand and come to see is a genuine desire on this department is to work in partnership with the police department. Now, a genuine partnership is mutually beneficial. It is not what can you do for me, it's what are we doing to help each other. And a true partnership has to be founded on trust and respect. I think the first step is the police department, collectively, all of us, working to grow the trust and respect that the community can have for us as police officers. And that's going to be based on a relationship. You don't trust who you don't know. And so I want the community to begin to learn and know who our officers are, what they're doing out there. I want the officers to learn the community. Focus on a smaller geographic area. Take ownership of that area. Get to know the people who live there and what their concerns and their needs are. And then we began working on this partnership to address quality of life issues. So for the residents, they're 50% of that equation. And I understand we have to take some first steps. But at some point, we're going to have to get the whole community engaged and taking up their half of that equation so we can form those partnerships.
Any specifics you can share with us right now? Is that still in progress? It sounds like it's...
One example, and it's a little step, but we have a recruit class in the police academy right now. They're about 5 weeks into what will be a 6-month police academy to become Newport News police officers. Starting this weekend, we will have small groups of our academy class out in neighborhoods. They're not going to be wearing a police uniform because they're not police officers yet, but we want them out meeting people where they live, introducing themselves in the neighborhoods, saying, you know, I'm a future Newport News police officer. What's going on in your neighborhood? What are your concerns? What would you expect of me as a police officer? I think it's going to be a little bit of culture shock for neighborhoods, and I think it's going to be a little bit of culture shock for our recruits. But what a better time for them to begin to learn who they will be serving when they graduate as police officers. We can take this window of opportunity and begin educating them on the importance of direct communication with residents in neighborhoods. So that's just one small step. There are a lot of other things. We're actively involved in conversation on how we can ramp up community engagement. But, you know, I have to learn the department first before we can really develop a comprehensive strategy.
Saw this on the outside. I've never seen this.
No? I think that's been around a while. How long have we had that?
It's been here since I have.
Oh, it has? Okay. Because I saw your name down here. So I was like,
Oh, they've updated it then.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.